In our previous video, we developed a histogram and a frequency polygon from this table. Let's look at it. Alright. Now, what we want to do is take a closer look at what is going on the horizontal axis. I had said before that you don't start drawing this bar exactly at 150. You start just to the left, and you don't end this bar exactly at 154. Right? Look at this. This is 150. But the thing is, it could have included measurements as low as 149.5 going up, and you round up to 150. Alright? So this could have included measurements as low as 149.5, and this could have been as high as 154.49, whatever it is. So it could go up to 154 close to 155.5, but not exactly touching it. So what you do now is look at the second class. This could have included measurements at 154.5. Once it touches 154.5, you're on up to 155. But this one could have included measurements up to but not touching 159.5. Remember your class boundaries. If it was, say, 159.4999, you would round it back down to 159. The 160 could have included 159.5 going up, 159.6, 159.7, and so on. You round it up to 160. This 164, it could have been as high as 164.499, whatever it is, but up to 164.5, but not touching 164.5 actually. Because once it touches 164.5, you round it up to 170. So, here, the first class is really from 149.5. Now, before we do that, let's look at a magnified view of the graph paper so we can have a close-up view and idea what's going on. First of all, you know that starting from 0, we show a zigzag to show that some values were left out, and then we started at 150, right at that point, 150. So let me write those in. We have our 150 here. What's the scale we use? 1 centimeter called 2 units. So in this case, you will go to 152, 154, 156. This is 158. 160, 162, 164, 166, 168, this is 170, 172, 174, 176, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, at the first class is 150 to 154, but it could have been, before you round it off to the nearest centimeter, it could have been as low as 149.5. So let's look at that. 149.5, where would that be? If you imagine that a number was here before 150, it would be 149, then 148, because we're using 1 centimeter to 2 units. So 149 would be halfway between 148 and 150, so that 149.5 would be halfway. Remember, this is 149. 149.5 is halfway between 149 and 150. So the bar going up to 8 will be somewhere there. Let's say this is 8 for argument's sake. This is 154, but it could have been as high as 154.5. So 154.5. This is 150, 156. The thing is, 154, then 156. You skip over 155. 155 would be about here. So call this, let me do that again with a thinner line. Right here would be our 155. So that is where you would start your line, or end your bar, I should say. And you go up and close. Good. Then for the second class, 154.5 up to 159.5. So 154.5, you've already, let me go back here, backtrack a bit. The first class ends at 154.5. Let me just make sure. This is at 155. I drew this over at 155. 154.5 is halfway between 154 and 155. So it would be right here. Okay, good. Have that corrected. Now, the next one, 155 to 159, could be as low as 154.5. At 154.5, we've had our 154.5 covered already. This line that ends the bar for the first class will start the bar for the second class. So we don't have to draw it again. It goes up to 159.5. Where is 159.5? Let me see. This is 158, 160, so 159 would be about there. $159, halfway between 158 and 159. Where are we? 159.5. Good. At 159.5. Halfway between 159 and 160 would be our 159.5. So we have the bar halfway between 159 and 160. Use sticker lines. And we go up You see that? And that bar would go up to 16, wherever that ends. Now, for the third class, 160 to 164 could have been as small as 159.5. Now, our 159.5 is already taken care of. This line that ends the second class will start the third class. Now, the third class ends at 164.5. Because remember, if it's just a bit less, say 164.499, we'll run it back down to 164. So the measurement could have been as high as 164.4999. Then we round it back down to the nearest centimeter as 164. So 164.5. We're going to use 164.5. This is 164 is here, 165 would be here, 165. Am I writing this like that? This is 165. 164.5 is halfway between 164 and 165. So would start our line halfway there. Let me try and get it more accurate and go up. I think it goes up to 29 or something like that. Alright, so that's the idea behind not starting the first bar above 150. You start just to the left. The thing is, in the exam, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time trying to find out exactly where 154.5 is. Just make sure that you start it just to the right of 154, but it doesn't touch 155. Halfway between 154 and 155. Alright? So that shows that you know exactly what you're doing. You're looking at the rules of rounding off, and you are aware of the fact that the 154 doesn't necessarily mean that it goes 154 and stop. It could have been as high as 154 point up to close to 154.5. Alright, so that's the idea behind not ending your bar, not starting your bar above 150 but to the left, and not ending your bar at 154 exactly, but just to the right of 154. Alright, so that's the histogram, and making sure of where you start and end your bars. Alright, that will be it for now. We'll continue with statistics in another video, so I will see you then.